Are you an established small business owner or aspiring entrepreneur? Would you like professional advice to help your business grow and succeed? Well, look no further. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center is the territory's #1 resource to move your business forward. Enjoy no-cost advising, low-cost training, and technical assistance from experts in both the public and private sectors. The VISBDC is nationally accredited and sustained by the University of the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Small Business Administration. Visit us at our locations on St. Thomas, St. John, or St. Croix, and follow us on social media at VISBDC. For easy access to all our training and networking events, be sure to join our newsletter and download the VISBDC app. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center, here to help your business start, grow, and succeed.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is the VISBDC's Webinar Tuesday with the SBA. Today, webinars features learning about SBA resources to help your business start, grow, and succeed. Today's session will educate participants on strategies to start, grow, and expand, as SBA has a variety of resources and services to assist. Attendees will learn more about SBA lending programs, SBA resource partners in the USVI, government contracting assistance, and programs to help business prepare and recover from disasters. Today's lead presenter is Wayne Huddleston, SBA USVI Senior Area Manager of the Puerto Rico and USVI SBA District Office. Here's a friendly reminder to put your questions in the chat, and they will be addressed by the presenting team either directly in the chat or later during our question and answer segment. A copy of today's presentation will be attached to the post-survey email, and we encourage you to take a few minutes after this live training to fill out that survey that lets us know how we're doing. If you're currently in the meeting and your name is perhaps like Zoom user or iPhone, I encourage you to switch your name so that I can be able to match you with your email address to make sure that you get that survey and the PowerPoint attached. So without further ado, Wayne, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Sharika. Good morning, everyone. I apologize for the late start this morning. Fortunately, Sharika reminded me that this was starting and I was still down the street talking with a business owner. I lost track of time. So thank you for your patience. This morning, this presentation is going to be a very broad overview of all the things that SBA does. I'm not going to go into great detail on any one thing. However, I am going to leave plenty of time at the end of this presentation to answer any question you have about any program or resource that SBA offers. So feel free to ask questions. You can either type them in chat during your presentation or at the end. You can ask them directly. But this is just going to be an overall general overview. So we do a lot of things at SBA. Our sole reason to exist as a federal agency is to help small businesses be able to start, grow, and be successful. Because if the small businesses of America can start easier and grow faster, that just helps our overall economy. Every large business today that's employing thousands of employees started off small at some point, and we want to make sure that we create the environment that allows businesses to succeed. So the first thing that I am going to focus on is our lending. Most people are familiar with SBA loans and are familiar with the term at least and what those are. So I'm going to talk about how those work at SBA, how you can secure those types of loans, and what you can do. So our lending program, when there's not a disaster, our lending program does not provide loans directly to business owners. We work through a partnership with thousands of lenders across the country, including all the major banks here in the Virgin Islands, to reduce their risk in a loan by providing them a guarantee. We leverage the federal government's good credit rating, and we do that. We provide that to the lenders to say, look, if you are working on a prospective deal that has a little bit of risk that you are uncomfortable with, but it meets some basic lending parameters that we require, then you can use our guarantee to guarantee anywhere from 50% all the way up to 90% of that loan, depending on the type of loan it is. So that if it goes bad, we will pay you back half of the loan or 90% of the loan, whatever it is. That reduces the risk significantly for lenders, which allows them a little bit more flexibility to provide good terms or to provide a loan. In some instances where they couldn't be able to do it before, our guarantee enables that loan to happen. Our SBA guarantees on loans can be used for just about every legal purpose you can think of that a small business might need. It can be used to start a business, to repair things, or purchase equipment, to get a working line of capital, purchase inventory, land or real estate, or exporting. It can be used in all sorts of things. Really, the only things that our SBA guarantee can't be used for are things that are illegal or things that would not be or are not seen as an appropriate place to invest public funds. So, for instance, there are legal operations that a business can engage in, but those may be considered speculative or investments. We cannot use public funds for those. You have to use them for some specific things like purchasing land or working capital or those types of things. But there's a lot of things that can be done. Just because, and I do want to say that just because some loans are not allowed to have the SBA guarantee does not mean that you can't get a loan. It just means the bank can't get the SBA guarantee on a loan. I see plenty of loans that banks are able to offer that don't have the SBA guarantee attached, and that's fine. So you just need to work with your lender on what works best for you. One example that comes up not frequently, but from time to time here in the Virgin Islands, is I have seen people who are trying to start an Airbnb business and wish to purchase homes with the intention of renting those out. Though that kind of business is considered a speculative business, and so it is not eligible for an SBA guarantee, but plenty of people still get loans and find ways to finance those types of ventures. But that is just one example that comes up down here where people try to use funds for an Airbnb or something like that, and it's just not eligible. Just about every other purpose would be. Okay. So when you're getting a loan, you do have to still meet basic underwriting requirements for that loan. Even though we take some of the guarantee for that lender, we don't take it all. There is still some risk for that lender, and they are going to require that you make meet some basic underwriting requirements. I have a whole presentation that goes into what we call the 5 C's of lending. That goes into detail of what lenders are going to need to see in a loan application to get to a yes. But essentially, it's these things: character, cash flow, collateral, capitalizations, and conditions. They want to see that you're a good character, that you do what you say you're going to do, that you follow up on things, that you don't mislead or provide false information on an application. You want to see that if you are a business, many lenders want to see that you are already operating as a business. They want to see the cash flow, and they want to see that they want to have an assurance that the cash flow in your business is sufficient to meet your basic operations, pay you money to have a profit, and still pay your debts as well comfortably. They'd like to see collateral. They'd like to see something that's put up. So in most instances, that's land or equipment or something durable that if you don't pay the loan, the lender can take possession of. They want to see your capitalizations, which is what you have on hand, the cash that you have that you're able to put into a bank loan. They're not going to be willing to fund 100% of your venture. They're going to want to see that you are putting in some money as well. And to find the conditions of the marketplace, they want to make sure that this is an appropriate business, that it has a reasonable chance to succeed, considering the economic conditions locally or the industry that you are in. Again, I have a much longer presentation where I go into details on that help you understand how to get to a yes on a loan application. Our guarantee can help a lender overcome one, sometimes two deficiencies in these 5 C's. But if there are more than that, our guarantee won't be able to assist. Typically, lenders will still say you have to get a little bit more bankable, have a little bit more ability to take on this loan before we can even use SBA's guarantee to get to a yes. As I mentioned, all the major lenders here in the territory utilize our loan guarantee program. I always recommend that you start with if you're seeking a loan, that not only that you use the expertise of the Small Business Development Center to help you package that loan and make sure you are submitting a complete application with financial statements that make sense and a business plan that is easily understandable, but also that you start with a lender with whom you already have a relationship. That greatly increases your chance of getting a loan. If you walk into a bank where you don't know anyone at all and they don't know you, it's just like walking up to a stranger and asking them for a loan. It typically takes a little bit more time for them to get to know you, know your business, know what's going on. Whereas if you start with a lender that you already have an existing relationship, that helps in the process and helps expedite the process. As I mentioned, these documents are going to be important. These documents are identified by lenders that I talk to locally as the number one thing that inhibits their ability to provide a loan is insufficient financial statements. A not well done business plan, expense sheets that are not well thought through, financial statements that are inaccurate or late or just not filed on time, or taxes not filed on time, or really poor financial projections. These are all things that a Small Business Development Center can help you by sitting down, looking at, and helping make sure that what you're submitting will make sense to a lender and increase your chances of getting to a yes. While there are all the lenders here in the territory, I also recommend that anytime you're looking for a loan, you don't start with one lender, go through the process for months, and then hope that they're going to say yes. Because if they say no, if you haven't begun the process with other lenders at the same time, then you're starting from square one again. So I always recommend you start with the lender that you have an existing relationship with, but then also as you're gathering that information for that lender, shoot it out to other lenders as well. You can do that to either other lenders locally, or you can also start the process in a platform that we call SBA Lender Match. This is simply a matchmaking tool. You go into our portal at SBA Lender Match, you enter in basic information about your business, your need for a loan, your profitability, and so forth. Once you hit submit, that is immediately sent out to all lenders who have indicated in our system that they wish to entertain deals in the Virgin Islands. If they like what you have submitted, they will connect with you directly and say, we would like to talk more about the possibility of supplying your loan. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take that long. It's always a good idea when you're looking for a loan to put that information into Lender Match. One thing I always tell people is to make sure you want to put that information in thoroughly. If you leave blank spots in your application or your submission, the lenders often have filters that if they answer, if a borrower says, oh, I left this part blank about my financial statements, or I left this part blank about how much money I make each year, then they just automatically don't even see the submission. They just filter that out automatically. So they won't even know about anything else you submitted. So make sure you submit every field accurately and thoroughly so that you can increase your chances of getting a response from lenders if they're using the portal. Outside of lending, there are other ways that we help small businesses access capital. One is something called a small business investment company. Not every business is a right candidate for a loan. Some need investment. There are what we call small business investment companies across the country who are interested in looking at prospective deals. Now, they are typically looking at deals that have a high, not a high likelihood of return, but a possibility of a high return. These deals and investments are just out there investments, and they're somewhat speculative. And they're typically investing in projects that cannot get a loan from a traditional place. So they're looking for something that's really going to possibly give them a 10-to-1 payoff, if that works. So they're looking at lots of deals. They are typically not going to be a source of investment if you are a traditional business, a restaurant, a retail store, those types of things. These are not the kinds of things that investment companies invest in. But if you have perhaps maybe an innovative technology or an innovative process that you are trying to scale, and it's something that can expand beyond the Virgin Islands and really get a lot of customers or has potential to make a lot of money, that is certainly something that they would maybe be interested in talking to you about. With any of these pitches to an SBIC, you do need to have a thoroughly well thought out business plan and understand how to make a pitch appropriately. And that is something that the SBICs can help with. You can learn more about them on our site. We have an area of our website that talks about funding programs where you can learn more about SBICs and how to pitch them and how to connect to them. We have a full list where you can get a listing of every SBIC in the country, and some will show where they are geographically, as well as industries that they are interested in investing in. Another place where we provide access to capital is through research and technology. We have, these are not necessarily our programs, the SBIR, which stands for Small Business Innovative Research, and a Small Business Technology Transfer, STTR. This is a government-wide program, and our role in this program is to connect small businesses who might be a good fit for investment from federal agencies in the form of grants. Again, these are not for traditional businesses. These are typically for businesses that are answering or meeting a need that a federal agency has. It could be to help solve issues for the Department of Agriculture on increasing yield for crops, or it may be something to increase efficiency of batteries, or something from the Department of Energy like that. So they have their needs and their programs are put out there, and then you have an opportunity to bid on those. And if it's something that you have an emerging technology or an emerging process that you think can assist the federal government in some way, they will talk with you and perhaps provide you the funding needed to bring your product to life. And I mentioned a lot of this, areas that they're looking at: artificial intelligence, nanomaterials, clean energy, those types of things. You can visit our sites, go to sbir.gov, and get a lot more information about those programs and how you can take advantage of them. All right, and the last part of our access to capital piece is bonding for contractors. This does come up a little bit more frequently here in the Virgin Islands, especially as we have a lot of federally funded projects that are going through the territory, or territory funded projects that need construction work to be done. They have a process they need to go through. And part of that process is to secure bonding. If you are a construction business or a contractor in some way, and you are bidding on a contract for a government entity, they're going to require that you have some bonding, which is essentially an assurance to the government entity that you will complete that work. And if something happens, that there is sort of like an insurance for them that they can continue to work in some way, even if you have a hiccup. This is more like sort of like a guarantee for them, similar to our program. Our role is to provide, again, our guarantee to bonding agents. We have a website as well where we have a network of bonding agents that are eligible to provide bonds to business owners and projects here in the Virgin Islands. Simply go to our website, sba.gov, bonding, and you can get a full list. There's a drop-down menu where you can select the Virgin Islands, and then you'll be given a listing of all the bonding agents or brokers that are there, as well as contact information to reach out to them should you have the need for bonding or any business have the need for bonding. Great. So that is our access to capital programs. Another important area where we provide assistance is in federal contracting. The United States government is the world's largest purchaser of goods and services. I know plenty of businesses who build their whole lucrative business out of just serving one customer, the federal government, because it is the largest customer there is. It's a customer that pays and pays on time. You can make a really good living making sure you serve that one customer well. Our role in this process is to help federal agencies and contracting officers connect with local small businesses that are eligible to compete for those contracts, as well as helping small businesses who wish to compete in a federal contracting realm understand how to compete effectively, because it's not necessarily an intuitive process. You can't just walk up to a federal agency and say, I want to provide this service to you. There's a whole vetting process. There's a system called a system for award management. So we help in that process, but we also provide several certifications that help give a leg up to small businesses when competing for federal contracts. The main ones are what we call the 8A Business Development Program, which is more of a technical support and assistance program. A certification called HubZone, which identifies businesses that are in statistically areas that have statistically higher unemployment and are depressed economically. There is a certification that allows us to identify those businesses that are working in those areas and employ people from those areas, and provides incentive to federal contracting officers to contract with those businesses to help improve the economic conditions in those areas. Women-owned small business program, and then we have a service disabled veteran-owned program to let business or contractors know which businesses have those certifications, as they often have goals attached to those and can even sometimes limit contracts that they promote to those types of businesses. So you want to make sure you have any certification that you could qualify for if you're competing for federal contracts. You can learn a lot more about these at certify.sba.gov. Now, in that process, this is not necessarily an SBA program. Well, more than just not necessarily. It's not an SBA program. However, we have a close partnership with other federal agencies, and one funded through the Department of Defense Logistics is the Apex Accelerator. There is an office here in the territory called the VI Apex. You can visit them at viapex.org and learn more about them. Their sole function is to help small businesses compete for federal contracts, as well as compete for local government contracts. They help with the government contracting process. They help businesses register in SAM. They help businesses put together their capability statement and apply for the necessary certifications to compete more effectively. So if you're all interested in federal government contracting, of course, we have a ton of resources that SBA can help out, but I strongly recommend you take advantage of the services of the Apex Accelerator as well. All right. There are other resources we have as well. So in addition to the access to capital and helping with government contracting, we help with exporting. While I mentioned earlier that the federal government is the largest purchaser of goods and services in the world, it is still true that 96% of consumers live outside of the United States, and 2/3 of the world's purchasing power is in foreign countries. If you can expand to foreign markets, you should, because that just expands the number of customers you have buying your product or service. We help with that. We provide a lot of technical advice and assistance. You can get a lot of information at sba.gov exporting. And there are also other resources out there. Of course, the SBDC can help with this. We have what are called USIACs, U.S. Export Assistance Centers. These are tied to the Department of Commerce, and we have close relationships with them. They can help you if you're experiencing any trade barriers. or difficulty entering a certain market, they can help you with that process. We have at SBA something called STEP, the State Trade Expansion Program. This provides funding to businesses who wish to market their products overseas. You can use it to go to trade shows. You can use it to improve your marketing to forward markets. There's lots of things you can use it for. This fund is provided to the territory through the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority. So if you're interested in taking advantage of the STEP program and receiving some funds to help expand your business to other markets, please reach out to the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority. They have a office there specifically dedicated to managing the State Trade Expansion Program. I know they recently applied for more funding again, and I expect we'll probably approve that soon and give that to them. If you're interested, you can reach out to someone named Nadine over at the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority, and she'll be able to help you out. And then some of our loans as well. As I mentioned before, we offer guarantees all the way up to 90%. That 90% guarantee comes on export loans. We provide our highest guarantee for those. So if you are seeking a loan and it is for the purpose of expanding your product to other markets, those are the kinds of loans that lenders love to do because they get the highest guarantee on that. So make sure you take advantage of that. Then we also have, we have a, one last thing on exporting is I want to mention that we do have a person named Sandro Murtas. He is the lead expert financing manager for Puerto Rico, Florida, and USVI with regards to the the SBA. He is stationed in Florida, but he is always available either through email or on a cell, or you could set up a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting with him. He'd be happy to talk with you about our export financing products like the loans I mentioned earlier. But he's also really well connected with other agencies that can help assist you when you're seeking financing or just trying to enter foreign markets. So then finally, the last part that we help out in, all these programs I just mentioned are things that we are doing on an everyday basis, no matter what. But things often change when a disaster strikes. Most often down here in the Virgin Islands, unfortunately, that comes in the form of a hurricane. And those just happen from time to time. So when that happens, we pivot our services. We want to make sure that businesses, when they're impacted by disaster, first and foremost, have all the tools and training and resources necessary to mitigate the effects of a disaster before that ever happens. We offer a lot of great resources on our site about how to prepare in advance. We offer webinars a couple times a year just here in the Virgin Islands on how to prepare for a disaster in advance. We encourage you to make use of those. But there's also things that are just unavoidable. So when a disaster does strike, our goal is to make sure that we can help minimize the effects of that disaster and allows a business to get back up and running as quickly as possible so that people can just return to their lives and still have jobs. This is the only time where we provide loans directly to people. And it can be used for more than just a business. So we provide loans to, provide what we call economic development or economic injury disaster loans, which are directly to businesses, and those help businesses overcome the economic impacts of a disaster. We also offer physical business loans so that if a business had its equipment damaged, its buildings damaged, something that physically hurt that business's ability to operate, we can provide a very long-term, low-interest loan to help that business recover and get back operating quickly. And then finally, we also offer what we call physical disaster loans for homeowners. So if you own a home, and it is, of course, if the roof is blown off your house, it's going to be hard for you to get back to work and get back to normal operating. So we provide loans quickly to help you get the funding you need to restore your home or to meet any unmet coverage that an insurance company fell short on. You can get a long-term, low-interest loan to help recover quickly on that. And then finally, with all these programs, we have a lot of fantastic technical support resources to help you not only take advantage of SBA's programs, but to help in just about any aspect of your business. We have a extensive network of resource partners nationwide. We have them here in the Virgin Islands as well. I'm going to highlight the three that are active here in the Virgin Islands. Of course, right here at SBDC, they're hosting this webinar. They are the most active entity here in the Virgin Islands to provide direct technical support. They provide free business consulting. You can walk in, schedule an appointment, be assured that that appointment is going to be kept confidential. You can bring in all your financial statements, or you can bring in your business plan. You can bring whatever you have and sit down with a qualified, well-trained business counselor who can help advise you in the process of either overcoming a challenge or growing your business or selling your business or whatever it may be that you're trying to do. This is free business consulting. It does not cost you anything. It costs in the fact that your taxes pay for this, but it's already paid for. You can consider it prepaid. So highly encourage you to take advantage of it. Even if I've started businesses in the past, I've been successful. I've been with SBA for many years. If I was starting another business tomorrow, I still would take advantage of the SBDC myself, just to get some objective feedback from someone else who can look at what my plan is and give their advice. So highly encourage you to do that. There's also what we call SCORE. This used to stand for the Service Corps of Retired Executives. This is a cadre of volunteers who have demonstrated their expertise in particular industries or their ability to grow a business and have volunteered their time to give back to their community by helping other business owners or entrepreneurs succeed. They provide free mentorship, free advice, and coaching. They also offer a lot of great templates on their website. If you're trying to put together a business plan, don't know where to begin, or financial statements, they have some great templates that can help you out. And they have a lot of great webinars as well. You can get a lot of information about them at their website, usvi.score.org, and you can set up an appointment. They can either meet with you in person or over Zoom, but it's just a great resource. It doesn't need to be an either or between SBDC and SCORE. There are plenty of business owners who use both and are happy that they do. And then finally, we have another resource active in the area called the Veterans Business Outreach Center. This center is physically located in Puerto Rico, but has responsibility for serving the Virgin Islands as well. They offer regular workshops. They offer a program called Boots to Business that mirrors the same program that veterans receive when they're leaving the military, to provide advice and coaching and technical support and how to start and grow and your business. So I highly encourage you, if you're a veteran or you're the spouse of a veteran or you're in the National Guard, take advantage of this. This is a resource that comes with and a benefit that comes with being a veteran or a family member of a veteran. A lot of great resources there. To have a website where you can learn more about what they do. As I mentioned, they have their in-person training sessions a couple of times a year here in the Virgin Islands. They do them on both islands, but they can also meet with you virtually as well and provide assistance online or over the phone. Okay, so what I did is I probably should have gone through each of these. I basically discussed everything in this SCORE, how to get in touch with them and what they do, SBDC, what they do and how to get in touch with them, and the VBOC. I meant to cycle through those as I was talking about them. But okay, finally, if you want more information about SBDC or SBA, and you think of something that you want to ask or just find out, you can usually have most of your questions answered through our website. We have an extensive website at sba.gov. We have what's called a learning center there that gives a lot of great information. You can sign up for updates. We have a social media account that provides updates on what we're doing or what's going on nationwide with SBA. You can visit our website, our local website. We have a national website, and then we have local offices. Our office here in the Virgin Islands is tied in with the Puerto Rico office. You can visit that to get a listing of all the webinars we have. We list the ones that are offered by the local SBDC, but then there are also additional ones that are offered by other resources or us directly. You can see calendar events. You can sign up for a newsletter. You can see who's in the office and get their information, all sorts of things. Follow us on social media. We have an online resource guide that goes through all this information I just talked about and provides a little bit more detail. But then also, you can reach out to me anytime. My email is right there, wayne.huddleston@sba.gov. I'm the only employee for SBA stationed down here. My full-time job is to make sure our programs work effectively for Virgin Islanders. If you ever have a question about our programs, our resources, or if you have a loan already and you're not sure how to manage that loan, or if there are any other question you have related to SBA, just shoot me an email. I can typically answer it for you, or I can help you directly to the right place where you can get your question answered. Just happy to help if you just let me know what we can do to help. All right, so that's it for my presentation. As I mentioned, it went kind of fast because we started a little bit late, but I wanted to give at least a little bit of time to answer any questions you may have. So I haven't checked the chat, but I think if you type something in there, Sharika will see it, or you can perhaps unmute.
Alrighty, Win, you were correct. I don't see any messages in the chat as yet, but participants can unmute themselves and ask questions directly.
Good morning. My name is Crystal Benjamin. My question is only because I joined pretty late. I do see that it was recorded. So is this something I could go back and rewatch at the end so I could catch up on what I missed?
Yes, you want to answer that, Sharika?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just for verification purposes, we are going to log into our portal in order to retrieve the recording.
Alrighty, so to access the recording, you're going to use the same registration link that you signed up for today's webinar. It's going to be on the VISBDC website. Select trainings, you're going to see it there. Make sure in the search area that you select on demand, and then you can see everything that has been pre-recorded. And so you can start today's session from the very beginning. Any more questions? Alrighty, I don't see any more questions. Wayne, would you like to say anything to close off before I preview the audience of upcoming webinars that we have?
No, just want to say thank you to you, Sharika. Thank you to everyone who joined. And again, if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot me a line. I'll be happy to help.
No problem. Thank you so much, Wayne.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so the VISBDC has so much more in store for you as VI small businesses. You can visit our website at www.visbdc.org. Download the VISBDC app on your mobile device from the appropriate app store. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google Business, or you could subscribe to the VISBDC YouTube channel for new uploads of our on-demand webinars. On our screen, I went to the VISBDC website. I went to the trainings that we have coming up. So tomorrow we have a webinar on customer service, small business, big service, crafting unforgettable customer experiences. That webinar starts at 11 a.m. On September 16th, we begin our series in collaboration with the USPTO. And that session is going to be Intellectual Property 101 and Patent Basics. We have an in-person Boots to Business reboot workshop. This first one is going to be happening on St. Croix on September 18th. It's a 2-day workshop, so it's going to be Thursday, Friday, and it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Our Puerto Rico team will be on island to deliver that workshop. On September 23rd at 10 a.m., we have SBA Senior Area Manager Wayne Huddleston back again, and he's going to be presenting on how to apply and qualify for SBA loan. On October 8th, we have one of our SBDC advisors, Liza. She specializes in marketing. She's going to be teaching a webinar Wednesday at 11 a.m. And it's going to be how to develop and maintain a strong brand, keeping your small business relevant. On October 13th, we have another SBDC advisor. Her name is Celia Kalusek. She's primarily stationed on St. John, and she's going to be teaching leveraging AI for small business longevity, an intro to AI, and the business life wheel. On October 14th, the USPTO returns, and they're going to be presenting on trademark basics starting at 11 a.m. And then our series on AI continues on October 20th with a session at 11 a.m. And that's going to be focused on AI in financials, operations, and strategies. And we do have a few more webinars coming up. So we encourage you to go to our training portal to register for as much as you can and attend when that time comes. So let me just check to see if we had any more additional questions. We don't. We thank you for your time for being here with us today and appreciate your patience, even though we had a late start. We hope that you grasp a lot of information that Wayne had for you and you connected by being ready to grab those resources from SBA. So Wayne, once again, it's always a pleasure collaborating with you on initiatives like this. I see persons saying thank you in the comments. So once again, check your email. A copy of today's presentation will be attached, and we encourage you to fill out that survey that lets us know how we're doing. So on behalf of the entire VISBDC network, we thank you for your time and attendance, and we wish you a productive rest of the day.